G'day, and this is SEQ Campers handover video for a Kimberley Kruiser. Now this is a 12-volt beast behind me, 600 amps of battery, 3,000 watt inverter, but this is our 12-volt handover video of a Kruiser. Now, what we have here at SEQ, we always say that a good handover makes a good experience. So part of buying from a dealer is trying to get this experience so you have someone who you can talk to about your Kimberley camper off-road caravan. Now, the Kimberley Kruiser here sets up with a Hitch at the front. So let's do the front. We're going to work tip to tail and show you everything on the outside of this Kimberley Kruiser. Now, at the front, we've got a Hitch. You can see that lots of people will take the pin out of the Hitch, and I've actually got a locking key. So please make sure that you do talk to your insurance and let them know you've got a hitch lock, and that guy is just going to go here on the front of the Kimberley Kruiser. You can always just use the normal pin, but that lock comes with it. And by taking it off, it means you've locked it up while it's in storage. That is a little bit there on our hitch lock. Now, what else are we doing for security? Now, this one is fitted out with a Witi. So you'll see a little Witi on this. And what I'm going to do here is push the button. It's now going to flash a couple of lights. Those two flashes there show that it's on. Let's set the alarm off. Push the button. There we go. Now, not many of us have patience to let it run all the way out, but 45 seconds of alarm will run. That's going to let people know the brakes have come on. Now, that just to make sure that no one can drag this away with those electric brakes coming on. That was my little Witi. There's a little lights that come on there, and you can subscribe to Witi for a text message to let you know if your alarm is set off. So those are my remotes there. What else is in the front? Well, Witi, what we were doing there, now with this system, if you get a 12-pin plug in your vehicle, you pick up 7 plugs or 7 pins, do your lights, your signals, your brakes, and everything. Number 8 has a little bit of power to activate this fellow. A 12-pin plug in the vehicle gives you wireless brake control or wireless lights through that. It's not actually set up as a replacement for your brake controller. You can buy another dongle for that, or you can have a standard brake controller. It just means that you can limit what you do here, and you don't have as many plugs or wires. Undo that plug, try it out. Witi is always updating, so I'm not sure where this is going to sit in the update, but this is wireless trailer plug lighting through Witi on your Kimberley Kruiser. So the next one, we've got a remote camera or a reverse camera on here. So the camera plugs in there, 5-pin. You'll have to get a loom on your vehicle, run from your screen or a separate monitor back to the plug that plugs in this pigtail to get a reverse camera set up for your vehicle to match this one. Airbag suspension. Now on this guy, our airbag suspension has a power for the compressor in the front. There are 2 open and close valves, and there's 2 manual fill points at the front. Now, because we're a tandem axle, we've got the joy of setting up all airbags individually. So what we can use is actually a turnbuckle. If I get a flat tire, drop all the pressure, turnbuckle that tire, lift it off the ground, turn that airbag off, and lift it up on 3 wheels and continue traveling. How do I do that? It's going to be in this box. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 valves there. I was wondering, why am I not getting pressure into my airbags? And that was just a little bit because I hadn't turned these valves on. That's how we're going to level up the unit. And then once we're finished, let's turn them off and we're good to go. So once I've leveled up the airbags, making my stair a nice height there, or the level of the ground, making my kitchen a nice height, I've just come up there. Quite often, I actually get that stair on the ground if I wanted to by dropping the airbags all the way. Going through our keys, we've got a door key, pod key, and we've got our outside kitchen key. So there are going to be 4 pressure locks here. Padlocks for the front are always a great option for gas bottle and front box there. What else do I have in the front here? Now, there is an underbody light kit on this one. We used to say it was safety lights. Many people call it the disco lights. So there's lights or steady lights underneath, and you're gonna have to find the app for that. We'll have a look and make sure you get a link to the app so you can control colored lights under the body. But number 1, white light for when we're trying to find a campsite really helps. Yellow light to create atmosphere, and blue light or red light to have a bit of fun on your campground. That switch for your underbody lights is right up here. Our front box here has our big batteries and a 3,000 watt inverter, 120 amp hour battery charger. There is a fan switch in there, and it's recommended that that is always on when this unit is closed. When this is closed here, we want to create positive pressure in there, but we want to keep it cool, especially if we're using our inverter or our battery charger. They're going to work really hard to run the aircon. Or if our batteries are low, we've plugged it in, and the charger will work really hard to charge those batteries back up. So please have the fan on when driving, have the fan on when charging or using excessive power inside, and then whenever you can, have a look here and just make sure that this is all on or running when you plug in and when you hook up to your car. This is what we do next. At the front, we have an Anderson plug. Now, everyone says, how does this work? Well, I'm gonna plug this into the car, turn it on, and I wanna see my DC-DC charger here light up. It's gonna tell me how much power is coming through there. It does have some options in there. You can change it for different batteries or different power, but generally, please plug it in, see that it's working, and then hit the road. My inverter charger controls are inside, but that's all my gear there. 4 bolts if I ever have to have a look at it. And if I'm setting up on this, we're gonna have a battery app using the Kimberley battery app, and we can see what the actual power is in those batteries. Now, I do say that battery monitors, if you're only looking at the percentage can't always be accurate. It's just a bit of math. Voltage is one of your best choices. So voltage in your batteries, or looking at the battery app and seeing that the app is being charged from mains power, solar, or from the vehicle. Definitely, my battery app is my number 1, and my battery monitor inside is like my number 3 or 4 to see, well, how much power is in the battery. I've got an isolation switch in there so I can isolate everything. I don't tend to use that very much because I want my batteries on getting power from the sun or other spots like that. I've got a bunch of bags in here. One of them is my screen door. I've got a bag for my table and my TV all sitting up in here. Now you'll see inside the TV is not hooked up for off-roading. I could leave it up for my local trips, but putting the TV on the bed will look after your TV for the long run in the Kimberley Kruiser. I've got some circuit breakers in here, so if you ever plug in and say, geez, there's no power in my battery app, geez, my battery charger is not working, what is going on? There's 2 normal house switches right there, and those could be tripped. So the circuit breaker in here, the circuit breaker at home or in the caravan park, those will quite often trip because it's such a big battery charger. 120 amps pulling out of a little tiny caravan park post, it might not actually be getting that power. We're gonna turn the battery charger down. If we're at some people's property, we're gonna turn it down, especially really low, if we're using a generator to charge the batteries. My little Honda will do 40 amps, no problem, maybe more, but if I turn it down, it's much quieter and I can still use it for other things. That is what we want to know, circuit breakers, and adjusting our battery charger. Gotta like it, a light up here. So there is a little press button on our light there, tucked away, but always nice to see and hear. If you've looked at these boxes before, where was the light normally down below? Now, hidden up there, something that I often forget to tell people. So hopefully you can find it on your van. And if not, come and see SEQ Campers and we can put lights inside your caravan for you, giving your van a birthday from SEQ Sunshine Coast. This is our handover video and it is a custom fit. This is a gas certificate here required for this one. So there's a good chance that because it has a mounted regulator, we've now got a bayonet here, 2 down the back, and the gas bottle plumbed in. A great option, but it does require a gas certificate for your new registration on selling a van. These bayonets, unclick them there. You can get more of these hoses from any of the gas shops to have an extra barbecue out the front. Again, we had a look here at the airbags, but this is my TV reception. This little white box is a booster for TV. If you ever say, how did the TV get so rubbish? There is a light on here and power. You might have accidentally clicked that off. So make sure that is clicked on, left on, that's power for boosting the TV. What we have here is also the light inside. Down the other end, we've got a solar regulator and our power input. So just so you know, tunnel boot, great storage, really a lot of space, great for my canvas, awnings, and poles. Close it up with my door, snap close it here. We've got these guys to keep our locks friendly, right? So we've got our little key locks there. Not everyone is key locked, but you can lock them up. And these little dust things here, just protecting my lock from a bit of water or dust on the road. So I've leveled up the airbags here, make my steps and kitchen nice. But again, I wanted to show you the package. Please, this is how I'm describing it. It's 1, 2, 3, and you move it in and out as a package. So I'm gonna go snap, snap, and get the whole thing in. Remember that these blue handle ones have a spring on the side. So I need to press the spring, same on the front, and squeeze the spring to put it away. Press the spring, undo both and send it back. Take it out as a package. All the way out as a package, lock, lock, and now I'm ready to unfold my stairs. 1, 2, 3. On here, we've got an extra little safety handle, custom install. We've got our little lock and keys here. Please just remember that we've got a deadlock, and that deadlock is my #1 for travel. So if I've just stuck my keys away, if we're heading into the outback, ta-da, 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 got my gold big round key, big handle here. That top deadlock is my #1. I want to make sure, push on the door, make sure. Which way is that going? There we go, snapped in. I really want to know that's locked. I actually don't care so much about the passage lock. If that deadlock is in, that door is not coming open. Just the passage lock is only on a small tab and that can flex and move. So again, passage lock is just a quarter turn, but please do the deadlock first and you know you'll have a good trip with your door. You can lock that from the inside with that handle on the inside. But something we've got to say here, because we do like our outback travel, this frame is adjustable. A bit of a block of timber, a rubber mallet, and if you're inside and you see a little bit of daylight here or here, it's just a gentle tap. It's something that we do as part of servicing or preparing for off-road, but we can adjust that seal. Stand inside, a little tap tap with a wooden block will actually close up some of those gaps. I go too far in one spot, it might pull another spot open. So do it gently there, but that is a great way to check, keep your seal clean, or replace your seal if you do have a service here with us. Now, we do like adjusting that there because the door is quite big and flexible. And look at our door angle. This just really demonstrates this whole 9 degrees of slope. Ours look like a bullet train, built like an airplane. This is how we get such great fuel efficiency through traveling down the road. Once you get this guy moving, it just cruises there. The road trains, the side winds, all that stuff doesn't push you around like some vans because we've got this great little slope on the side of our van that just gives us a whole really another aspect of towing. Now we are like a spaceship. We do love it for the luxury inside, but you will really appreciate it for the shape of the outside of the van when you go towing with your Kimberley Kruiser. Outside kitchen, really quick. We talked about the big key, little key, round dot key for our little pressure latches, and our little suitcase key here for locking outside. Again, that one, lock up the barbecue sauce, open, turn sideways, and we're here for our big kitchen. Now, whatever our bench is doing inside is matching what our kitchen is outside. We've got some storage in here. Again, 12-volt design, has a yellow and white light under there. So that's in there. Now look at this guy. What do we've got? He's got an extra little light there. Weber barbecue, 2 tabs. So we're going to drop that down. Lots of storage underneath because we're quite a big step up. And this Weber has the bayonet. Another one is this comes out and actually then lifts all the way up. That gives me a room for my little grease tray. There's some grease trays there that slide underneath. Then to put this away, I do have to then drop it back down. Goes away. That was just to lift up so I could get my grease tray underneath my Weber Q. Lots of room for long stuff there, little goodies in here. Right, what we have in here is my electric awning, some fuses, storage, all of this stuff here. Pull this out, all the way out till it clicks, and then we open this up. And that's my bench out here. Again, I've cranked up this airbag where I probably could have lowered it down to the steps on the ground. Got long tools in here, same sort of thing with my drawer, and a hose fitting. The normal garden hose that goes and screws onto your tap will screw on under here and allow you to put a hose out and away from your outside kitchen. Just so you know, our awning button is here, so we can put our awning out from this one and back away. And what it does there, please remember with the awning, we want to come out 1 meter for a little bit of cover, come out halfway, and then we want to clip it down or rope it down. Make sure you put a peg in it if you come out more than halfway and you don't know what the air is doing. Underneath, big shockies, big tires. Again, remember, let's drop our tire pressure for off-road corrugation. Bayonets here, extra toolbox on this one. So we've got a little toolbox there for pegs and ropes. Around the back, the other standard things on this is that we have 2 gray water tanks. One of them, a gray water tap for our sinks, for, you know, our dish soap, our little food scraps. That one we want to empty all the time. And then we've got a gray water for our shower. We've got our 120 liter of drinking water and a 200 liter general water. So over 300 liters of water on this T-Class cruiser. At the rear of the cruiser, we open this up. It's actually under the shower of the driver's side. We've got 2 taps here. This one is filling the water tank. So open this up, and what we can do is just by opening it in the middle, we're filling both tanks. Open to the rear, we're filling the general water, 200 liters. Open to the front, we're filling the drinking water, 120 liters. So as they both fill up, one of them is over full, we can then just go to the other, close it up there, mains pressure there. Now, if you ever find the water is struggling to suck from the tank or anything, sometimes opening that up as a breather will let the water flow through the pumps a bit easier. Try that out if you're ever struggling with pressure on the pumps. Now, the other side here, putting this one away, is my shower tap, and we're gonna go here, outside shower, hot and cold water. This is running off of mains pressure or outside shower off my 200 liter general tank. We walk in the door and it's always fun to find light switches on black on black leather up here. We love the overhead pelmet. I've got my overhead light, which is my highlight, and I've got my window light. I've got that same switch on the other side. The other 2 switches are going to be my yellow or my white outside. So those are my two switches there. Overhead pelmet, again, has a bamboo fronts here, lots of storage. It's amazing what we can get in here. And are my windows. Again, I've got window blinds, fly screen. You'll see these in many videos. Just remember some of the tips. You have to pull it all the way in on the windows, or we can put it in the middle slot and let the van breathe and lock the windows. That's my light screw there. So this is our media in the middle here, or I guess my tech center, right? So one of my favorites is the bench light. So I can get under here. I've got metal drawers, metal fittings, my bamboo closing, drawer fronts, all looking good. So love it that it gives me some light in there. Working my way from front to back, I can touch anything here. So I've got the arrows on my touch screen. The physical screen of the Cymarine is not a touch screen. So waking that up there, right now we're at 93%, and it's saying that I'm going to last for 4 days on my 600 amps. Now I'm going to roll this down. I've got 559, so I'm pressing the down arrow. People say, what is happening? I don't know. You've got to come to this screen, wake up in the morning, have a look. I right now have X amount of appliances on and lights. I'm using 7 to 8 amps. So my yellow there is showing 8 amps going out of the battery. My voltage there is showing 13 amps. So anything 12.8, 12.9, all the 13s are a full battery. 12.5 is getting below 50%, and 12.0 volts on my screen is really getting empty. So what we're trying to do there is make sure we keep it in the high voltage, high 12.8 for using microwave, air con, or using those big appliances off the batteries. Make sure my voltage is quite high. My state of charge of my 93%, maybe I want to be above 50%, but it's not always as accurate as my volts on my screen. So it's telling me there I'm using 8 amps. I've got 550 amps left of 93%. Touching my down arrow, I can see we're under the shade sail, but I'm still getting 2 amps of solar. Our hot water, we're going to turn on our hot water, and my fridge, we're going to see how much power they're using when I turn them on. Now we do have 2 gray water tanks, and they don't have any gauges in them. We've just got the 2 bank of gauges showing my drinking water at 66% or 76 liters left, and my 85% in the general or 170 liters left. Please take it as a grain of salt. It is very hard to measure the bottom of your tank, so please be aware there could be a little bit extra on the bottom, or it could be hard to suck up the bottom. So take it as a grain of salt, just a guide on my water tanks. Going down there, we've got some shock absorbers, so we've actually got temperature sensors on my shock absorbers, and we've got our freezer and fridge thermometer, which aren't actually turned on at the moment, but we're going to calibrate or test those before we get this guy going. 26 degrees outside in the shade, and that's a good one to keep an eye on, is our shock absorber temperature. Now, Cymarine is built with a marine, and there's a barometer. The barometer on there will tell me if storm pressure change and that there. But please, the apps on the Cymarine will be updated. Sometimes it works better than others. It is connected to a Wi-Fi system. Please check out some of our videos on how to connect the app. But in order to do that, we can get an app on our phone, hold down the circle, takes us into settings. And what we're going to go is we're going to go right down to the bottom to system. You can see I haven't done this for a little while. We've got Wi-Fi. We can connect to Wi-Fi there. Right down the bottom of Wi-Fi, it'll say Wi-Fi reset. So we'll go Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi reset, and that'll give me the password to get in to connect to the Wi-Fi of this unit. Now, it's not internet. It is, once you've connected there, you might find your Google Maps are not working. It's Wi-Fi connection, so you can use your phone as a remote control. So Wi-Fi, there's your password. Again, if it doesn't connect, reset the password. Just go here, go into Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi reset, and by resetting it, it'll allow it to connect to a new device. So we're going to just let this guy reset. It might need a new update. If you get into Wi-Fi near the house, maybe needs a new update. We'll check it out here before it goes out to you. This guy here, again, go into Wi-Fi, press all the way down to the bottom. Wi-Fi reset, and that shows you your password. Log on to Wi-Fi, then open up the SiMarine app and try and connect. That was all us here. The rest settings all pretty good. Home screen, there you go. Set it up for your time zone. And then in here, bench lights, water pump, general drinking water. Those are my water pumps. Turn them off when I'm traveling, turn them off when I leave camp. It's gonna stop me having any loss of water. We're gonna go into hot water here, bang, Webasto hot water, let's do it. Green light comes on, it starts up, 3 to 5 minutes. I've got hot water at my shower. I've got a room heater that piggybacks off the hot water. The room heater is that one switch with a fan in the shower. 3 to 5 minutes. Again, infinity, it will keep running till I'm out of fuel or power. So let's just turn it. Turn this dial down 15, 10, 20 minutes, lock it in. It will now turn itself off in 20 minutes, giving it a cycle there, or I can change it up and down there. Let's let that run. If that turns white, or if I decide I'm finished with water, press the button, white is off, it will cycle down. If it doesn't start, turns white, let's just go start it again, let it get going again. Inverter charger, Victron 3000 watt charger, 120 amp battery. Now this is how you save power in the bush. No lights on, bush camping, save power. What am I gonna do here? We're gonna go and turn it on. Once we've turned that on, it's gonna give me an indicator of what it's doing. Now, if we read the manual, we will see that the manual will tell me that there is a few settings on here, but one of them is, I can see I've turned it on, got light, now my microwave is working there. This is a convection oven microwave. This guy here is my one using. This guy is gonna use 1 amp a minute. Just thinking my fridge is gonna use 4 amps per hour. This is using 1 amp a minute, 140 amp charge coming out of there. That's why I don't want to use my microwave inverter items if my battery's down below 30%. There we go. That was me. Microwave on, off, all clear there using my inverter. We've just turned on our inverter, going to the on switch to save power in the bush. We're not using our 240 appliances. Please turn it off. Now, if it's on the on or the charger only, both of those work when we power or plug into mains. If I plug into mains right now with off, it probably will not charge. So please, it's gotta be on charger, it's gotta be on, and then once we do that, you will see mains will be in there. Then I can adjust the settings from 1 to 10 to turn the percentage down of how much charge I'm getting. So there we go, off for bush camping, save power, on when you need it, and make sure you turn it on when you plug into mains to charge it. There we go, little secret cupboard here for spices or rubbish bin. Lots of cupboards through there. That was a great look at our dashboard for the Kimberley Kruiser. We've taken the TV off for off-roading. I've got a bracket up here. Just so you can see, I've got an HDMI which will connect into my satellite dish. Now, satellite dish is the best thing since sliced bread until we got Starlink or smart TVs. Now, what this was, satellite goes on, we connect for free to the satellite, but what we're doing is getting free-to-air TV in the bush. If it's not working, it's a conversation to have with VAST, the free satellite, or with the satellite company, which is Cryosat, one of the best satellites out there, Sat Plus, one of these satellite guys here. But the VAST re-hit or log on with your number. The box is in the tunnel boot. It'll have your card number for your subscription, which is free with VAST. Turn this on, just pressing the power button. That's going to then open up the satellite. Now, there are a couple of things to try and reset and rejig so that it will connect to the latest satellite. We're going to have a look before it goes. We've got our Fusion soundbar in here. Just so you know, power this on. Little simple. There is an app there. I'm just going to press that until it says Bluetooth, and I'm going to hold down the button. So I've press the source till Bluetooth. While it's flashing blue, I can now connect my phone. Once I connect my phone there, I can also use a Fusion app to have stereo in there. With these Sirocco fans, again, 1, 2, 3. And then the Sirocco fans actually have a little blue button they can turn off in 3, 6, 9 hours. And I do really like these little guys there, Sirocco fans, blowing on me now. Satellite opening, HDMI for satellite, coax cable for my normal TV aerial, and let's put the TV on. Now again, I've told this story once before, but there's a bit of tension in this, and what I'm doing here is just trying to squeeze that over. It's like breaking the turkey's neck, but it is just grabbing. If I squeeze this down, it's much easier to get that TV on with my big bracket there. So I've squeezed it down like this, then I'm gonna go and put this on. It just makes it easier than trying to fight that guy there. Now with the TV here, we're gonna tighten that up. We've got some adjustments to make in there. We've got our merit plug power. We've got our coax cable in the cupboard and our HDMI to connect to satellite. This is our smart TV, and that's what we want to do. Again, taking the bracket off, remember you can plug USB movies in here. It is just supporting it a little bit there. You can see it's quite close to the screen, and then don't let it surprise you. It wants to lift up the TV. It's got a bag, and put that on there. And that was a bit of our media in the Kimberley Kruiser.